All right, so welcome to Module 2, and this week's yoga posture is going to be Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. So don't worry too much about the pronunciation if you're saying it correctly or incorrectly. Most yoga books do have a pronunciation guide in the beginning of the book. This one doesn't. So if you are concerned with that, we can talk about it in our next group call. This is called Sarvangasana. So shoulder stand. The principles of this posture are a couple of things. So you want to make sure that when you're doing the physical posture that you are relaxing everything that you don't need to tense. This is the same for every yoga posture we're going to be doing. Relaxing everything that you don't need to tense. So for the headstand, we needed to hold tension in our upper body in certain ways and tighten up our abs. But the lower body, the legs, the glutes can relax. So we're learning how to distribute energy in our body for more efficiency, and also just being able to isolate our awareness into different muscle groups. The thing I was going to mention, I started thinking the principles of this posture. So then I started thinking of the architecture, like how we're going to build the posture within our body. But metaphysically, this is squeezing our throat. It's squeezing our thyroid and parathyroid glands. Squeezing means that when I demonstrate, when we get into the posture, this section of our body gets completely closed off. So it's sort of like wringing out a rag. You wring out every last drop of blood and lymph and energy. And then when you lay back down, when you release the posture, you open that tension back up. New blood flow comes in, feeds all the thyroid, parathyroid, all the little structures inside the throat get freshly oxygenated blood. So this is important, especially, well, it's important for everybody, but especially if you have any kind of pathologies going on in your throat, it's going to be very beneficial for you. So how this relates to Taurus, I started to mention, I think I did get through saying what I wanted to say with the throat. No, I don't think I did. Okay, so the throat having a similar function and setup as the cervix. So when we think about Taurus, we're thinking in polarity to Scorpio. Scorpio is in the area of the body that is our regenerative organs. For women, the cervix. For men, the penis. If you imagine a baby growing inside the mother's womb, there's no sex determination in the beginning, and there's just a space. And either that energy goes upward and in, and the child will be born female, or that energy pushes downward and becomes an outward flow, and this becomes a male. So like that structure that either goes out or goes in is very similar to the throat. So for both men and women, Scorpio is the reproductive, regenerative organs, also deals with evacuation through the bowels. So our anus, the sphincters, which also are similar to the sphincters in our throat. And there's that peristalsis, that kind of ripply movement that pushes food along. Okay, so let me see. I hope you maybe have this book. You don't have to have it. I'm going to cover the things that are not most important, but what we're talking about here. This is a really good book. Highly recommend it. Okay, so physical benefits. The chin presses on the throat, bringing blood supply, thyroid gland, parathyroid, massage, brought proper level of activity, centralizes the blood supply in the spinal column. Oh, this is the part I didn't talk about. So we're inverted, so all the blood flow is returning back to the heart. The legs get to empty out. So if you have varicose veins, this feels so amazing. Also, the internal organs, so our guts all get, relief of the pressure that's put on them all day while we're sitting and standing and kind of scrunching those down. Even if you're just laying down on your back, there's still a kind of compression. This is really good for the digestive organs, and some of the variations to Sarvangasana are more specific to the digestive organs. So wringing out the intestines, wringing out the liver, focusing a lot on the kidneys also, working on the stomach. This is an inversion. And let's see, okay, encourages deep abdominal breathing, massages the heart and lungs. Mental benefits, relieves lethargy, mental sluggishness, helps to cure insomnia and depression. The energetic benefits, the focus is on the psychic energy center, Vishuddha chakra, in the throat region. Stimulates pranic flow in the stomach, small intestines, urinary, gallbladders, pericardium, and kidney meridian. So this is a really, really great posture. So headstand, Sirsasana, is a king. They call the king of all asanas, whereas Sarvangasana is the queen of all asanas. So let's go ahead and set up. There are some preliminary movements for this. The preliminaries it's very, very basic. So I'll just show that here. So you're gonna lay down. Once you're gonna have a little space where your back is, but try to push that down. You wanna have your spine mostly down. So the preliminary exercises, we're just gonna bring the right leg up. You're gonna hold. Every time you breathe in, lengthening. Every time you exhale, contracting. So pulling inward on the exhales. We're shortening the space on the exhales, elongating the space on the inhales. The next part, let's go ahead and do the other leg. You're just holding and pulling up. And stay here a little bit longer, inhaling and lengthening. Exhaling and pulling in. All right, so the next part of this posture, you can pause the video and hang out there for a minute. You're gonna clasp your two fingers behind your calf, and you might be here. We're gonna move our body upward. My teacher in India used to say that imagining that you're a monkey climbing a tree, and that just makes it really fun. So I'm just showing the different areas that you can hold. Behind the ankle, you're just gonna pull your head up. You wanna keep your spine straight. An example of not keeping the spine straight would be doing like this. The goal isn't to get closer to your knee. The goal is to keep your spine straight and the back of your legs straight. Every time you inhale, lengthen. Every time you exhale, soften and pull in. All right, so the same thing on the other side. You can pick your spot, either behind the thigh, behind the calf, or behind the ankle. You're gonna lift up and kind of hanging your torso from your leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, shorten. Okay, so that's the preliminary, and the exercise is gonna go like this. You're gonna take your hand and place it underneath your body. The other hand, same thing, underneath the body. You're gonna lift your legs up, and then your hands are down on the floor, and you're gonna use them to push up. So kind of doing that a little bit fast. And I'm going to show you how in a beginner's class, what I would recommend, pushing up and then touching behind you. Either if you have a wall, that you can kind of go like that, or a chair or something behind you, or the floor. So you want to take your hands and place them on your back, fingertips pointing up. And so far I've been kind of moving my head from side to side, but you want to not do that. You want to keep your chin locked in place. Gonna lift your legs up. I just showed one way to get into it, but let's do another one. Okay, so hands underneath your body. Let's see. Trying to think of a way that would maybe be considered easier to get into this. You can take one at a time and come up, relaxing the lower legs. So you don't want to be going like this, squeezing your glutes and your toes. It's easy. Toes relaxed, glutes relaxed. So I'm just showing some different ways to get into the posture and to come out. Do one more. So hands underneath the body, legs up, so you look like a letter L, toes relaxed, glutes relaxed. You're gonna push up, hands on your back, fingertips pointed towards your glutes. One thing I do remember in the beginner's class is bringing your knees to your forehead, and you can touch your toe behind if you can reach. Hold your two hands, squeeze your shoulder blades closer together, and then release your hands back to your back. And then you're going to roll back up and feet up. To come out, you can go back to knees to forehead, or you can put your toes behind your head and you want to roll down. Slowly, slowly, slowly. So very delicately placing your spine back on the floor. And after this posture, after every posture, you're going to get into Shavasana. So feet and arms away from the body. Every time you inhale, spine lengthens. Every time you exhale, body softens, melting into the floor, into your mat, whatever you're on. So the pause between the postures is where the magic happens. So like I was mentioning, when we're in the posture, we're squeezing. You can hear my sound of my voice is struggling, and I'm trying to talk while I'm squeezing all these muscles, and the throat's getting contracted and pinched off. And then when you lay down, all that opens back up, fresh blood to all the joints, the throat. And you want to give yourself some time to let all that mixing of energy happen. And whenever you're ready, you're going to bring your feet together. You're going to reach your arms up over your head, give a good stretch to the body. And you're going to roll over to your side and come back up into a seated posture. So that's the shoulder stand, Sarvangasana. And let me know if you have any questions.